Prosperous Dawn. This is the relentless purgation of the Ordo Malleus. How do you read? Prosperous Dawn. Our sensors show your systems are powered down. Confirm your status.
Augury sensors confirm ship is running on life support only. All other systems have been powered down. No movement detected on board.
Emperor, damn it. Somebody go get the Inquisitor.
I am here. Have you established contact with the Prosperous Dawn?
No, my lord. She's here at the meeting point as you said she would be, but something's wrong.
Specifics, please, Captain.
The Prosperous Dawn's plasma engines are sitting on idle and her shields are powered down. I detect no movement, but we are picking up strange interference. Ship layout is difficult to discern and teleport boarding is currently impossible without a teleport homer active.
Of course. We need to find out what happened and discover whether the Dawn has what we need on board. The Ordos on Cadia are getting desperate. Sergeant Krauser!
Already on the way, my lord. My team are boarding the Valkyrie as we speak.
Very good, Sergeant. I don't like the look of this. Remember, priority 1 is to secure the cargo.
Can we expect reinforcements?
The strike squad from our Ordos militant is on standby. Their numbers are limited, so only place down the homing beacon if the situation demands it.
Understood, my lord. We'll make contact once we've established an operating base on board. Alright, Johnny lad, how's it looking, son?
The Auspex readings are remarkable, in how unremarkable everything is. The ship seems derelict, as if it's been abandoned for years, but we know that isn't the case. Something's going on. This is meant to be a rogue trader's ship, yet every chamber we've come across has shown signs of rust and neglect.
I doubt the esteemed captain of this ship would have let it get this way. Rogue traders are pretentious like that. What do you think? Warp trackery?
It's possible, even probable with our line of work. Good news though, Auspex says it's not much further. Atmosphere is still breathable, but I'm looking forward to getting the main lights on.
Alright, let's keep this simple and by the book. We get the power back on, and secure the area. The armory should make a good base of operations if we need one. We access the cogitators, get a schematic for the ship, identify where the cargo is, and get what we came for. If we can, we find out what happened to the crew as well.
Okay, this should be it. Stand by and keep me covered just in case the shadows contain any surprises. It shouldn't take too long. The ship's plasma drives are still running on low, so power won't be an issue.
Well, if anything tries to surprise you, mate, it's gonna run into this booby trap first.
Again with the booby traps, mate. Just call it a melter mine like everyone else.
It's called a booby trap because tits like you step on them, Smithy.
Got it!
Good work, mate. Ghost, it's gonna take some time for them cogitators to fully wake up. Their machine spirits can be crankier than Smithy's mum, so stay alert, man. Get them cameras working.
If that is your wish.
Welcome to our first battle report of 2023 and the first game in our long-awaited Kill Team narrative campaign. This is something new for us. While we play Spec Ops games and Gallodark expeditions in our free time, those formats are not really suited for YouTube due to how slow the experience gain is, and they're not really suitable for what we have in mind. We will be introducing some narrative mechanics as we go along, but let us know what you think of the battle report and mention in the comments if there are any mechanics you would like to see specifically. That's enough preamble, let's crack on. We begin our campaign with an inquisitorial Kasrkin kill team led by Sergeant Krauser on board the Prosperous Dawn. Sergeant Krauser himself is armed with a plasma pistol and chainsword, so he poses a threat to anything that comes too close. The rest of the squad has been equipped with weapons suited for close indoors fighting. The squad gunners have been issued with a melter gun, which is truly excellent in close confines. A plasma gun, which due to the leap points mechanic should be able to get away with firing supercharged shots with minimal risk. And a grenade launcher for both hitting power and the ability to clear away groups of enemies. Rather than taking a fourth gunner with a flamer, the squad has a sharpshooter which, despite the cramped conditions, usually performs very well. The combat medic will help keep things alive, and the demo trooper will help ensure that other things die. He's been equipped with frag and crack grenades in addition to his melter mine. The recon trooper is our tech specialist in the narrative, whose warden auspex can help bring down threats, and like the rest of the operatives with hotshot las guns, has been equipped with a foregrip. The Vox Trooper is your standard action point boosting operative, but his battle comms ability is explicitly allowed to be used twice each activation, which is excellent. Rounding out the team we have Trooper Smith. He's there to fill out the numbers of the squad, but his ability to grant himself a free elite point during his own shooting attacks can be surprisingly useful. Attacking the Kasrkin in this game are the mutated remains of the crew of the Prosperous Dawn, who now play the Imperium as the Gellarpox infected. Gellarpox teams are fairly standard in their composition, so we have the 4 Nightmare Hulks. These lumbering monstrosities might struggle to operate doors, but are otherwise terrifying in every other respect, with their huge wound count and the ability to both hit hard and resist a lot of damage. The Thrice Curse here is the brains of the outfit. The Nightmare Hulks are accompanied by 3 mutants and 4 glitchlings. These mutants are mainly a melee threat, but also each carry a frag grenade which can be devastating in the close confines of a ship's interior. They are also accompanied by 2 sludge grubs and 2 curse mites which are taken as equipment. Let's find out more about the nature of today's combat encounter. The Kasrkin have discovered a defensible area on board the Prosperous Dawn and have begun the process of waking up the cogitators so that they can download a map of the ship interior to help them locate the cargo the Inquisitor has sent them to recover. Unbeknownst to them, they have been spotted, and now the remnants of the ship's crew are making their way to assault the Kasrkin's position. We're playing mission 3.1 from the Shadow Vault's book. To secure the area and win the battle, each side scores 3 victory points for each objective marker they control at the end of the battle. If no enemy operatives are within Pentagon, an extra victory point is awarded for holding that objective. As the Kasrkin are unaware of the approaching danger, infiltration rules are in effect, and the Gellarpox infected will attempt to get as close as possible without setting off the alarm. The Kasrkin, whose positions here will be revealed once the alarm goes off, are not completely defenseless. They have 2 active security cameras, whose field of vision is represented by these detection tokens, which they can use during the infiltration step to try and spot the approaching enemy. With that out of the way, let's begin the game.
The corrupted Gellarpox begin their infiltration, with the first glitchling jumping up and swinging the door open, then rushing forwards before its friends step through the door. The glitchlings across the entire team follow suit, using their greater agility to open the doors for their teammates, allowing the others, especially the lumbering hulks, to enter the chamber where the Kasrkin can be located.
With everything moved, it's now time for the security cameras to take their turn. Each detection token representing the camera's focal points moves forwards, not yet able to see anything, but close enough to restrict the Gellarpox movement.
Going back to the Gellarpox, the group towards the bottom of the room move up, getting as close as they can to Objective 2. Next, the group towards the top activate, getting as close as they can to Objective 1. Finally, it's the central group left to activate. The Thrice Curse charges forward, eager to close the distance. Its movement is caught by one of the security cameras, and the alarm is raised. As we go into turn 1, the Nightmare Hulks are going to focus on moving up and engaging the Kasrkin, although they need to make sure to spread out to avoid taking too much damage from any frag grenades that the Imperials might have. One command point was spent on Drawn to the Hum to get the group at the bottom closer to Objective 3.
With the alarm raised, the Kasrkin deploy. The security cameras may have caught sight of one of the advancing monstrosities, but with rapidly closing Nightmare Hulks on each flank, the brave Kasrkin are in for a tough fight. A command point has been spent on elimination pattern and a tactical op, protect assets, was revealed. The Imperials get the choice as to who gains the initiative and have elected to go first. With the alarm having been raised, the Kasrkin go first and put a well-practiced plan into action. The comms trooper issues orders to the gun over the grenade launcher and the demo trooper, which increases both of their action points by 1.
The glitchling by Objective 3 lets out a chuckle and infects the objective marker. His buddy advances forward to Objective 1 and does the same.
Hearing the advancing horrors, the gun of the grenade launcher steps through the southern hatch into a firing position and aims his grenade launcher.
Time to earn our keep.
The grenade strikes true, landing 3 hits, 2 of which are critical. The glitchling fails its demonic saves and is unable to survive despite its demonic resilience. Despite being caught in the blast, the powers of Nurgle protect the hook-wielding mutant, who does not suffer any hits at all.
Undeterred, the remaining 2 glitchlings advance towards the central objective.
The melter gunner is next to activate. He steps through the door to stand alongside his fellow trooper, and he takes aim at the advancing mutant wielding the hook. The attack dice are rolled and 2 elite points are spent to leave a result of 1 normal hit and 1 crit. The melter gun makes short work of the mutant's defenses. It goes for its revolting resilience rolls, but is quickly overwhelmed. The melter gun leaves a smoking pile of ash behind.
Despite the demise of the first mutant, the Nurgle forces have plenty more and advance on the Kasrkin's position.
Hearing the advancing mutant, the demolition trooper uses his extra action point to open up the hatch. He then steps through it and takes aim with his hotshot las pistol. The firing angle proves to be a little bit awkward, and despite spending an elite point, the demo trooper only lands a single critical hit, which bounces harmlessly off the mutant's face armor. Next, it's time for the hideous sludge grubs to activate. The first one slithers its way up towards Objective 3, and the second one crawls towards Objective 1. Remaining in the safety of cover, the recon trooper opens up the hatchway in front of him before taking aim at the glitchling at the center of the board. Losing his steely demeanor, the recon trooper misses and has to spend an elite point just to land a single hit, which the glitchling promptly saves. The curse mites move up, pushing deeper into the room. Hearing signs of fighting just outside the hatchway, Sergeant Krauser rushes through the door and takes aim at the closest mutant, supercharging his plasma pistol. The attack dice are rolled, and the Sergeant spends 2 elite points to make sure all of his attack dice hit. The mutant makes 1 critical save, but the staggering amount of damage quickly overwhelms the mutant's revoltingly resilient rolls, and he is swiftly dispatched.
This victory is short-lived as the lumbering bloat spawn marches into view.
The plasma gunner, hearing the thunderous footsteps of the advancing Nightmare Hulk, moves to the hatchway and supercharges his plasma gun. Unfortunately, the plasma gunner only lands a single critical hit. An elite point is spent so that an additional normal hit is caused. The bloat spawn fails its 1 defense roll, but it manages to pass 4 of its disgustingly resilient rolls, meaning it only takes 7 wounds total, putting it to 11.
The Thrice Curse stomps up the middle of the battlefield, an evil grin on each of its 3 faces as it prepares to take advantage of the clumped up Kasrkin in the next turn.
With full view of the advancing monstrosities, the plasma gunner calls out to the marksman for reinforcements.
Somebody help me! Yes, of course I'll help.
Resting his rifle on the shoulder pad of his squad mate, Ghost takes aim at the bloat spawn. He spends an elite point to score all 4 hits. With 4 hits scored, the Bloatspawn rolls its defense dice and manages to block 1 of them. This means so far it's suffering from 9 wounds, but it rolls for its disgusting resilience, and it blocks 2 of those wounds. It's now got 4 left and is injured.
Eager to close the distance, the Flesh Screamer rushes forwards, falling just short of being able to engage the Kasrkin in melee.
Trooper Smith is next to go, who moves up through the hatchway and takes aim at the Bloatspawn in the distance. He lands 3 critical hits, triggering penetration 1 because of elimination patterns. The Bloatspawn takes its defensive rolls. It tries to roll revolting resilience, but is quickly overwhelmed. The Lumberghast is the final mutant to activate and closes the distance with the Kasrkin. The combat medic repositions in anticipation of future casualties. The Kasrkin have managed to survive the first turn unscathed and have scored their victory point from the Protect Assets tactical op. This is a good start, especially as they were able to bring down the Bloatspawn as it advanced, but there are multiple Nightmare Hulks within charge range now, so the Kasrkin will have to do their best to hold the line. Going into the second turn, they have the initiative, and to help their survivability, the strategic ploy Reposition has been played to disperse the group in the room to make them a less likely target for the Thrice Cursed. Tactical ops, Hold the Line, and Stand Fast have also been revealed.
Going into turn 2, the Gellarpox infected are spending a command point on the strategic ploy Rust Emanations, so that any Kasrkin within engagement range of most of the Gellarpox count as injured. The Thrice Cursed will continue to advance, while the Nightmare Hulks on the flanks charge forwards and take out the Kasrkin foolish enough to stand in their way. Turning point 2 begins with the Flesh Screamer letting out a bellow and charging into the Kasrkin. The Flesh Screamer takes a swing at the Melter Gunner. Its first strike deals 5 wounds to the trooper. The Kasrkin desperately swings his Melter Gun around, catching the flat side of the meat cleaver, parrying the second strike. He then follows up and slams the butt into where he guesses the monstrosity's kidneys must be. The strike would have dealt 3 wounds, but following the revoltingly resilient rolls, only 2 wounds are dealt. With his gut mouth screaming in unison, the Flesh Screamer spends a command point on Frightening Onslaught and slams his meat cleaver into the Melter Gunner, disabling him.
Too preoccupied with the imminent threat to deal with the cries of his men coming through the combade, Sergeant Krauser calmly aims his supercharged plasma pistol at the Lumberghast and fires to the approaching monstrosity. He then revs up his chainsword and charges in a bid to stop the creature from slamming into the rest of his squad.
Unfortunately for the sergeant, his plan fails as the Lumberghast spends a command point to barge through him and engages the troopers behind him. With its spike charge, the Lumberghast deals several mortal wounds to each of the 3 troopers before lashing out at the sergeant and knocking him out.
The comms trooper is going to spend his activation relaying orders to the demo trooper and the gunner with the grenade launcher, increasing their action points by 1.
Sensing nearby prey, the Sludge Grub charges forwards to engage the demo trooper. The dice are rolled, and the Sludge Grub lands a single hit. It strikes with its fanged maw, causing 1 wound. In retaliation, the demo trooper slams his pistol down hard onto the body of the Sludge Grub, causing it to pop in a caustic explosion. The resulting acid splashes everywhere, causing a further wound on both of the nearby troopers. Sensing the warm meat on the other side of the wall, the remaining Sludge Grub advances towards one of the central hatchways.
Realizing he's in a bit of trouble, the gunner of the grenade launcher leaps back and with his 3rd action point fires a crack grenade at the Flesh Screamer. An elite point is spent, but 2 normal hits and a crit are landed on the Flesh Screamer. It fails its armor saves, meaning it has to take 13 revoltingly resilient rolls, and somehow makes 10 of them.
In all my years, I have never seen them do that!
The first of the 2 glitchlings by Objective 2 stays where it is and infects the objective. the second glitchling rushes over to help the flesh screamer.
Deciding he can't best serve the Emperor if impaled against the wall, Trooper Smith falls back.
The swarms of mutoid vermin continue their charge as the two curse mites rush forwards towards the Kasrkin position.
Trying to clear a path forwards, the demo trooper spends 2 action points on a fallback maneuver, and then turns around to throw a frag grenade at the glitchling. The grenade lands a good hit, but due to the inherent squidginess of the glitchling's body, it absorbs most of the damage and is left with 1 wound. The curse mite, however, is less fortunate and is taken out.
Not appreciating being the victim of a frag grenade attack, the glitchling retaliates by throwing diseased effluence at the demo trooper's face.
But the trooper's armor proves resilient to such filth and takes no wounds. Next up is the plasma gunner, who, hearing calls for support from his squad mate to his right, moves down to the door and supercharges his plasma gun, aiming it at the flesh screamer. The plasma gunner makes its initial attack roll and misses with everything. The command point is spent to re-roll the 1, but it just turns into a regular miss. The leap point is spent to turn 1 miss into a normal hit, but the flesh screamer promptly saves.
With the flesh screamer uninjured by the previous attack, the axe-wielding mutant continues its advance up the board.
Now, despite the impending threat of the lumberghast, the recon trooper steps through the hatchway and takes aim at the glitchling by the objective. The shot lands true, and despite making both of its saves, the glitchling can't roll enough resilience rolls to survive.
Unable to reach any targets, the thrice cursed goes next, advancing forwards and going on guard.
The combat medic goes next and moves up against the door to take aim at the flesh screamer. The shot finds its mark and a lead point is spent to turn it into a crit and 2 regular hits. The flesh screamer makes its armor saves and resilience rolls and ends up taking 4 wounds. And finally, the marksman demonstrates that discretion is sometimes the best part of valor, and whilst remaining concealed, closes the hatchway on the thrice cursed.
Blink, and I'll vanish.
Both sides have started to take serious losses, with the Kasrkin having 2 key troopers, namely Sergeant Krauser and the Melter Gunner, incapacitated, although the Imperials have managed to score protect assets a second time, granting them a second victory point. Going to turn 3, the priority for the Imperials is to try and eliminate at least 2 of the Nightmare Hulks and then try and move forward to secure the objectives. To that end, the strategic ploy Clearance Sweep has been played to help try and eliminate the Flesh Screamer.
The Gellarpox have successfully spread their infection onto the objectives, scoring the Tech Infection Tactical Op, and have disabled the Sergeant, scoring them the Headhunter Tactical Op, which grants them a total of 3 victory points. The Nightmare Hulks are going to continue their bloody rampage, while the glitchlings move to hold the objectives.
Starting turn 3, the plasma gunner supercharges his plasma gun and fires at the flesh screamer. Through the use of elite points, the plasma gun is able to score a crit and 2 regular hits. The flesh screamer fails its 1 defense roll. It then attempts many revoltingly resilient rolls, but it's not enough, and the flesh screamer perishes. And with the job done, the plasma gunner relocates to the other door.
The lumberghast is next to activate. It eyes up the demolition trooper and rushes in with a spiked charge. The monstrosity collides into the trooper, knocking him out instantly.
Seeing what the lumberghast did to his squad mate, the trooper takes a shot, but in his panic misses completely. The trooper then rushes forwards, eager to atone for his failure.
Seeing the bunched up Kasrkin, the Gellarpox mutant rushes towards them and gets ready to throw a frag grenade. The grenade goes off, overwhelming the trooper's armor, taking him out. The recon trooper is caught in the blast and loses 2 wounds.
The Vox Trooper continues to hold position, relaying battlefield communications to the operative with the grenade launcher and the combat medic, increasing their action point limits by 1.
Smelling the blood of the recon trooper, the voracious Cursemite charges forward.
But the charge proves inconsequential as the Cursemite has to parry the gun butt as it comes swimming towards its face. Back over on the other side of the room, the combat medic hears the chuckling of the glitchling over by Objective 3. The medic calmly steps out of the door, aims his hotshot lasgun, and dispatches the glitchling.
This attracts the attention of the sludge grub, which slides over and spits acid at the medic. The sludge grub lands both a crit and a normal hit, which the medic fails to save. With Splash 1, that causes 5 wounds.
The recon trooper goes next and crushes the Cursemite beneath his boot. He then takes aim with his hotshot lasgun at the mutant in the distance. The shots are good ones, with all 4 dice hitting, 2 of which are crits. The mutant's armor blocks one of the attacks, and thanks to its metal helm, even the remaining crit counts as normal damage. After rolling for revolting resilience, it's left with 1 remaining wound.
The glitchling by Objective 2 decides to remain where it is and passes.
So it's back to the Kasrkin, and the operative with the grenade launcher decides to advance forwards. He lines up his shot and fires a crack grenade at the lumberghast in the far distance. It's a tricky shot with the mutant in the way, so only 3 dice are rolled. The lumberghast manages to block the normal hit with its defense save, and thanks to revolting resilience, manages to prevent 4 of the wounds going through, leaving it with 2 wounds remaining.
In response, the thrice cursed advances towards the trooper with the grenade launcher and fires his pyre gut. The devastating attack lands 4 critical hits, easily overwhelming the trooper's armor and incapacitating him quickly.
And for the final activation, the marksman swings open the door and takes a shot at the mutant wielding the axe. The shot strikes true as every dice hits. The armor's quickly overwhelmed, and despite a fairly decent resilience roll, the mutant is dispatched.
1 chance is all I need.
The Kasrkin are now down to half their team. Going into the final turn, it's imperative that they push forwards despite the presence of the Hulks, so that they can try and secure the area. The Thrice Curse remains the greatest threat, but if they can at least eliminate the lumberghast, they might have a chance at driving the lumbering beasts off. Going to turn 4, the sharpshooter activates first and aims his marksman rifle at the lumberghast. The sniper fires, and with only 2 wounds remaining, the lumberghast is swiftly dispatched. With the kill made, Ghost rushes over to Objective 2 to contest it from the glitchling.
The sludge grub goes next, spitting acid at the medic, but his armor saves him, causing him to suffer no wounds. So the sludge grub rushes forwards to pin the medic in place.
The recon trooper rushes forwards to claim Objective 1 and then takes aim at the glitchling by the sharpshooter, quickly sending it back to the warp.
Sensing the isolated sharpshooter, the thrice cursed turns around and fires. The thrice cursed lands 5 hits with its pyre gut, which quickly overwhelms the Kasrkin's armor, instantly taking out the sharpshooter. The thrice cursed finishes up by moving to Objective 2.
The combat medic goes next, finishing off the sludge grub and moving up to Objective 3. With no more Gellarpox left, the plasma gun is the last to activate. He swings open the hatchway door and takes a shot at the thrice cursed. It's a terrible roll as the gun fails to fire, but luckily for the plasma gunner he didn't try to supercharge it, so he remains uninjured. Uncaring of the corpses of its former crewmates lying around it, the thrice cursed chuckles to itself, confident it knows why the Kasrkin have arrived on the ship. It retreats back into the shadows, eager to put a cunning plan into motion. And that's the end of the battle report. We'll get to final scoring in just a moment, but first we'd like to say a huge thank you to our wonderful patrons who helped support this channel and made this video possible. We'd also like to thank our community members, Messiahside, Storm Terror and Nasanya for helping lend their voices to the project, as well as the wonderfully talented Drew B from the Battle Brothers Tabletop Discord server for providing us with images of his Rogue Trader ship model. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you like what we do here, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. If you really like what we do here and want us to help make more videos, consider signing up to our Patreon, where as a thank you, you'll get access to some exclusive perks and benefits such as access to our private Discord server so you can speak directly with us, early access to battle reports, as well as exclusive patron-only videos. This was our first battle report in our narrative series, so we've gone for a slightly different presentation. Let us know what you think in the comments and we can get a conversation going on down below. The Kasrkin managed to score a solid win with 12 victory points to the Gellarpox's 7. However, the Gellarpox now know where the Kasrkin are, and will also have some tricks up their sleeve, so tune in next time to find out what happens next, here on the Grimdark Gamers channel.